Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Speaker, and this is Indiana Law TV. My guest today is legal correspondent Carl Brizzi of Carl Brizzi Law. So welcome, Carl.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Carl, you've handled a lot of drunk driving cases and other things. You've been a prosecutor. What do you look for in a drunk driving case? What are the elements of it that you, as an attorney, looks for as a basis to possibly defend your client?
Well, as you said, I was the prosecutor for Indianapolis for 8 years, and prosecuted many drunk driving cases, defended many drunk driving cases. And the first thing that we ought to say about drunk driving, it is easily the most preventable crime that there is. So don't do it. You can avoid it. If you're going to drink, take a cab. Everybody's got an Uber app on their phone, because not only is it dangerous for you and others, it's also very expensive for all sorts of reasons. And so what happens when you get arrested for drunk driving is, after those field sobriety tests are performed, and after you take the portable breathalyzer test, which you don't have to take, number one, there is no penalty for taking that, but if you think that you're close to the limit, you might want to take it because you might be under. So that's the first thing. That
interesting.
Test,
Wait a minute. So you don't have to take the breathalyzer test?
No, lots of people get confused about that portable breath test that we just saw there.
Right.
The test that you have to take is the chemical test that's administered once you get back to the police station.
Okay.
And if you don't take that test, then that's an automatic 1-year driver's license suspension. So a lot of people are confused about that. And there's all sorts of different strategies and reasons why you would or wouldn't take the first portable one, because that one's not admissible.
Okay.
But we'll do another show about that strategy later on down the road. But the first thing you want to do is, obviously, you don't want to panic if you get arrested, and you want to hire a good lawyer. And the reason why you want to hire a good lawyer is because the stakes are very high. As I said, it's expensive. You don't want that on your record. It affects some people's employment.
Right.
And so you want to do everything you can to help level the playing field when the government's coming after you.
Yeah. Now, when they if at the scene they take your license, is that officially mean that your license is suspended and you can't drive at that point?
It's an excellent question. No. When the police officer takes your license, if you have a duplicate license, or even if you go to the BMV and you can get a duplicate license, you are not officially suspended. The police can't actually suspend your driving privileges.
Okay.
The court can, and the BMV can. And so you wait. You can drive until you get a letter from the BMV officially suspending your driving privileges.
Okay, and how long is that usually for when they suspend your driving privileges?
So as of January of this year in Indiana, there is no more mandatory suspension. It can be anywhere from 0 all the way up to 2 years. And what happens in most courts in Indiana, and every county is a little bit different, and every judge is a little bit different, so I'm speaking in generalities, but typically the judge will make the suspension retroactive to when you received that administrative suspension from the BMV. So typically in Indianapolis, what will happen is the judge will put somebody under oath and say, how long has it been since you haven't driven? And if the judge believes the person, then that suspension is retroactive. So most of the time, by the time you get when you get through with the case,
right,
especially if you've negotiated something short of going to trial, like a plea bargain, your suspension is over.
Okay. You know, it's interesting when you said about the ramifications. I had heard someone talking about this woman had tried to get into medical school. She had the DUI years before, but she didn't really defend it. She just accepted that consequence, and it kept her out of medical school.
Wow. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. But she had no idea that what the consequences are and how that could affect her future.
Yeah, and you have no idea how other people are going to react, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a pool of 25 candidates all equally qualified, and you're looking for ways or reasons to cull the herd, you can just use that and say, well, so that person's got a prior conviction for operating while intoxicated. So you got to take it very seriously. And I know sometimes people think of these such an open and shut case because they've got the tests. Well, the tests aren't always right. The science isn't always right. The people giving the test aren't always right. The reasons for the stop always are not always constitutional. So there are ways to legally attack a drunk driving charge. And the reason why you hire a lawyer is you want to go through that analysis with somebody who knows what they're doing, so that you, as a consumer, can make a judgment
Right.
about how you want to proceed with the case. Is
Right.
it defendable, or do we need to try and negotiate the best possible deal to mitigate the negative consequences?
Yeah, yeah. Timely topic.
It's it's one of those things. People have been, maybe driving buggies and riding horses,
Yeah.
while intoxicated, 150,
yes.
200 years ago, and now it's
Yes,
cars,
yes.
and maybe in 100 years it'll be spaceships, but maybe
Right.
stuff will be able to drive itself with Google,
Yeah.
right? And then you won't have to worry
Right.
about it.
Right. That's going to open a whole new can of worms when they get to Google-driven cars and things.
You just go to sleep, take a nap.
Right.
Maybe there'll be a martini shaker actually in the car because you're not having to drive it.
Well, thank you so much for your time
you.
today. This is Cindy Speaker for Indiana Law TV.